hitting stories that matter. Get ready to challenge your perception and discover the real world. Let's dive deep into the issues that affect our communities, revealing the untold stories and giving you a voice. No sensationalism, no bias, just raw, unadulterated truth. I am committed to delivering news without compromise. Hard facts as we know them, when we know them, and how they affect you. Every Monday through to Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. This will be your most authentic news experience starting now on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Awesome brand new week to everyone who's listening. Come one, come all, tune in to the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station, 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Itami and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. I hope you enjoyed the weekend. And for those who are out there protesting, well, I hope you get heard and you stay safe while you're out there. And those who are not protesting, well, welcome to the show. My name is Maryann Okon. From now till 6 p.m. It promises to be the most authentic news experience you ever have on the radio. And not just that. You never leave this show, you never come away from this show without something, like Denzel Washington will say, I'm living here with something. You will live here with something. Well, it's been a week long of protests, or rather from Thursday we've been talking protests. In fact, from Monday we've been talking about this protest over and over and over again. And of course the protest did come, it did happen. In some places very peaceful like Lagos, but then in the FCT, in Yobe, Gombe, in several other cities, Kanu, it wasn't as peaceful as we thought it would be. Well, majorly, most of these protesters kept saying, we want Mr. President to speak to us. We want the president to... He's not listening to us. He doesn't feel the pains of the people. He needs to come and address us. Oh, well, then the president did come to address Nigerians on Sunday. What did you make of Mr. President's address? Of course, we've gotten all kinds of reactions. And I'll be running some of the newspaper headlines for today on our screens. If you're watching us, we're live YouTube on Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're live. Go ahead and watch us live. Post your comments and your thoughts. And of course, we're on Skype. If you want to be part of the conversation and you're listening to us from outside of the country, join us via Skype at Nigeria Info FM. And of course, we're on X. Use the hashtag HardFact. And on WhatsApp, it's 08095975805. Welcome to the big weekend. Let's look at the big stories from the weekend into the brand new week. Let's go.
Big weekend.
Important news of the day. It's time for the Big Three Stories on Hard Facts. Tune in to our primetime show for the latest updates and in-depth analysis on the top stories making headlines. From breaking news to in-depth investigations, we bring you the facts you need to know. Join us as we delve into the biggest stories shaping our world today. Tune in to the Big Three every weekday, 3 to 4 p.m. and stay informed with the news that matters the most. Hard Facts, where the truth always comes first.
The big weekend.
Well, a lot of things happened over the weekend into the brand new week. The protesters continued to occupy. They did not relent. Although the numbers may be dwindling, but of course, some of them are still out there. We hear that a reporter was at Jota this morning, Maryann Okon, still reporting that there are few people still there. The news with Yvonne Haifo also stated that they're having some sort of Congress, to decide what they're going to be, what their next steps are going to be. But first, let's take a listen to Mr. President's speech from over the weekend. Yes, I'm going to play you a clip courtesy of NTA and television. Listen carefully, because these are the bits of the particular interview, or rather address, that we want to address. Tell me what you make of Mr. President's speech. Most importantly, the part where he talks about the issues of people, bigotry. He's talked about unscrupulous elements taking advantage of the protests, etc., etc. These are the parts of that particular address that I want you to pay close attention to. So if you're watching live on YouTube and on Facebook, you can watch Mr. President.
As the president of this country, I must ensure public order in line with the constitutional oath to protect the lives and property of every citizen. Our government will not stand idly by and allow a few with a clear political agenda to tear this nation apart. Under the circumstances, I hereby enjoin protesters and the organizers to suspend any further protest and create room for dialogue, which I have always acceded to at the slightest opportunity. Nigeria requires all hands on deck and it us all, regardless of age, party, tribe, religion, or other divides, to work together, reshaping our destiny as a nation. Further bloodshed, violence, and destruction. As the president of this country,
the president said many more things, of course, in his address. But most importantly, I decided to pick this part because he started off on this note. It's his duty to make sure that there's law and order. He also talked about the fact that his government is not going to allow unscrupulous elements to take advantage of the protest. And bigotry, he talked about it. People who want to tear the nation apart. I've got a few ideas. He also talked about dialogue, that he's always open to dialogue. So maybe this is something that the protesters need to test. I'm thinking. Also, I'm curious because I watched the whole address over and over and over again with a fine comb. I tried to see. But then the question I'm throwing to you all, I know that Joyce has talked about this. I know that people talked about it this morning. But was there any form of apology embedded in that address? Did the president say, look, I'm sorry that I was not as open as I should have been, or as accessible as I should have been? I'm sorry that you didn't feel like we could hear you, or we understood your plight. Was there any subtle apology of sorts in that particular address that you all listened to or watched? Again, were there any promises whatsoever and timelines set in that address that you could say, well, yeah, Mr. President, so we're going to give you from now till December to see what you're going to do about this, that, and that? Or did he say, we're going to do this, this, and this. Give me 6 months, or give me 4 months, or give me a year? Was there any such thing as a promise or a timeline set as to when he will deliver on these promises? Again, are we being a bit too hard on Mr. President in, as we're going about this protest, or in asking for what we are calling demands or dividends of democratic dispensation, or at least to ease or ameliorate our sufferings? Should we be cutting the president some slack? Are we being too hard on him? Or maybe we're asking for something that we may never be able to get access to. Welcome to Hard Facts, Lagos. Let's get into the business of the day. All right. Well, that is my very first story from the weekend, of course. But let's look at other stories. Protest. Tinubu's broadcast fell short of expectations, says organizers. Atiku, Soyinka, PDP, NLC, and others. Yes, Mr. President has not had it good since after that address, Well, organizers of the nationwide protest against hardship, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, the human rights activist Femi Falana, SAN, they've all described the as the hollow response of President Bola Tinubu to the protest, which was on its fourth day yesterday. They're saying that it did not necessarily address the issues. In fact, if you recall, protesters had asked Mr. President to address the nation and respond to their 15-point demand if they were to call off the protest. And that's why I asked that question. Did you in any way see any promises, a response of whatsoever or was it more like a, hey, just in case you did not know, these are the things that I've done. I'm reeling them out. I've done this, I've done that, and I've done that. Yes, I know that you're hungry, but these are the things that I've been doing. But then, many people are not satisfied with Mr. President's response to the protest organizers, I beg your pardon. And so the organizers of the protest are saying, we're continuing with our protests. Yes, at the Gani Fayemi Park in Ojota, in Osun, in Kano, among other states. And they're saying the nationwide broadcast did not in any way address their demands. All right, let's move away from that. Still on the protest, marketers stop fuel supply as queues resurface. Have you been able to buy fuel? What's your fuel buying experience? Share it with us. How much have you bought it for, and how long do you have to wait to buy fuel? Because the marketers are saying that look, this protest is hindering a lot of things, and now fuel queues have resurfaced. But just before the protest started, did we not see queues? Or is this another excuse to squeeze us even more? I don't know. Well, let's go to Abuja. The police in Abuja is telling journalists to dress in media outfits. Yes. They say if you must cover the End Bad Governance protest, you must dress in media outfits. I didn't know we had an outfit of sorts. Is there a uniform? I didn't know. I'm just I'm just asking. What would that do? Would it exempt us from the harassments that the protesters are getting, or what? Well, talking about what's happening in Abuja and the protesters, there are videos that have come in on how police officers have been pummeling, protesters, how they've been shooting at protesters. There's a particular picture of a police officer who shot at protesters that's been making the rounds on social media. But I want to show you some pictures, or rather video, that was captured by a lady, in the FCT, talking about the fact that, aside from the fact that police officers were harassing protesters, they brought a bus load of thugs armed with machetes and cutlasses. Here's what she had to say. Watch.
They brought these boys and they brought them with cutlass and knives. And they're shouting no protest. Guys, can you see their cutlass? Zoom it in. Look at it. Can you see? Can everybody see what is happening in Abuja? And the policemen are with them. They're only cutlass. And policemen are with them. And policemen.
So she's claiming that, because if you look very closely at that video, you see some men in a bus coming out, they're actually standing by the bus with machetes, and they're flanked by police officers. And she's saying, can you see? Police officers are with these men with machetes. They're branding machetes. But then they're harassing protesters who are unarmed. Abuja is not a real place, is it? But then the FCT police is telling journalists to dress in media outfits. Please, can they send the uniform to us? Because we have Nigerian folk in Abuja, so our people can wear the uniform. Welcome to Hard Facts Lagos. There are more stories that we're going to look at today on the show, but I want to open up the phone lines quickly. Join the conversation. You got 60 seconds. Go straight to the point. What did you make of Mr. President's address? Did you pick any subtle hint of apology? Was there any promises made? And how satisfactory was it for you? 0201-277-0993, 0201-465-7190. That's for the ladies. For the men, 0201-277-0993. And ladies, 0201 465 7190. This is Hard Facts. Let's quickly do this. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Maryann.
Good afternoon.
We have Emmanuel on the line. I'm calling you from Ekwe.
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
First of those fuel marketers, in fact, they are very funny people. I think they are turning to comedians now. Of recent, they said it was thunder, and what was it, that was delaying loading of fuel, to the depot. Again, at a point it was bad road. At a point it was the fact that the drivers, we are not getting enough fuel to move their distance. Today they are saying it's protesters. So I think they are turning. They should be very careful, because very soon, when Nigeria wants to watch comedy, I think they will soon to their side. And then coming back to the issue of the protesters and the protests, it's unfortunate that we are getting to this kind of mess, because of the mistakes the president has done. Because at the end of the day, things he was supposed to address, he never even addressed them. Today, are we paying subsidy? The answer is yes. Today, do we have a unification in our exchange rate? The answer is no. So what is it? What are the things he plans to do in the first place? Going forward, the president should sort out his policies, before implementing them. And again, this arrogant stance, and wanting to claim that you are a superhuman, I think the president and the presidency should take note that they shouldn't be doing that, because at this point, things that should cut the nerves and the angers of Nigeria is things they should be doing. Thank you and good afternoon.
All right, thank you very much for calling. I do appreciate it. Mrs. Aboli is calling us from Ikorodu. Hello, Mrs. Aboli.
Good afternoon, Maryann.
Good afternoon.
How was your weekend?
Great.
Thanks. You saw my mom, right? Thank you.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you, babe. The president's speech. Maryann, I'm not inciting anybody this afternoon, but let's just face the fact. We are on hard facts. That was a recipe for disaster. There was nothing the president said.
How do you mean it was a recipe for disaster?
Maryann, I would rather he didn't say anything at all than bring to the table.
What do you guys want? Let him speak. He speaks. Now he speaks. Oh, I'd rather that he doesn't speak.
Maryann, did you listen to the speech?
I did.
Maryann, it was a threat. It was an admonition. See, Maryann, many people have died in this struggle. Who has been addressed so far? Maryann, the policemen came to protect us, but they brought they were wielding so much force. The people were supposed to protect. Maryann, you have to be at Ojota to see what I saw.
Okay.
How can you bring...
In 10 seconds, Mr. Boli, because we have to go for a break.
Maryann, please. The president is the father of the nation. He should do the needful.
Okay.
He has not done anything. I can bow into all what he has said.
All right.
He has not said anything, Maryann. He has not, please.
All right, Mr. Boli, thank you very much for calling. We have to go on a break, Lagos. Once we come back, we're taking more of your thoughts and comments. Welcome to Hard Facts.
This is Hard Facts.
Talk that matters to you.
When you marry, you don't cheat.
The most common drug that damages the liver is paracetamol, what we call acetaminophen. People think that paracetamol is just paracetamol. I can take paracetamol. No.
Do you know I've been monitoring? Coming up, we'll be back in a moment. Get ready for the ultimate showdown of intellect and persuasion. The I Beg to Differ National Debate Tournament kicks off on the 12th of August, 2024. And it is going to be epic. Witness a thrill of high-stake arguments, insightful rhetoric, and unbeatable wit. The sharpest minds from Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt will clash for the prestigious title of National Debate Champion. Who will rise to the top and claim the ultimate crown? Well, tune in to 99.3 Nigeria Info Lagos, 95.1 Nigeria Info Abuja, and 92.3 Nigeria Info Port Harcourt, Monday through Thursday, 4 o'clock, and experience the power of persuasive debate like never before. I Beg to Differ, the Tournament of Champions.
.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Facts. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories. You know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Yes, it is Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info, and we're broadcasting from Lagos, Nigeria, from our audiovisual studios right here in Itimiya Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. My name is Maryann Okon, and we're looking at the big stories for today, all through the weekend into the brand new week. And one of the biggest, which is the one that's been trending almost all through last week into the new week, is protests. And of course, Mr. President's long-awaited speech didn't really, well, from the reports that we're getting, didn't really sit well with a lot of people, including some people who would be identified as Mr. President's friends or allies. And the likes of Professor Wole Soyinka saying the president didn't address the issue of brutality, which is something that should not be carried out against the protesters who were peaceful. Also, Vice President Atiku Abubakar, I'm going to put up his tweets right now on our live feed. He had something to say about, Mr. President's speech. In fact, several other people have spoken about Mr. President's speech. Let's see. I think I have that tweet somewhere. I'm going to put it up on our live feed. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar there speaking on Mr. President. Let me read it out first and then I'll put it up on our live stream. He did talk about this issue of Mr. President's speech. In fact, there are a lot of people who have had diverse opinions on Mr. President's remarks. And that's why I asked when I started this conversation that for those who were waiting earnestly for the president to speak, and he decided that he was going to speak to us on Sunday morning, what did you take away from that particular speech? Was there any hint of apology? The fact that he seemed to have not been listening to the cries and the hues of people, or was there any promise, somewhere hidden in that address that could at least assuage the protesters, that could have at least given them some succor to say, okay, let's give him some time to see how he addresses these issues? Was there any timeline? Were there any promises made whatsoever? What did you generally make of that speech by Mr. President? Anyway, I want to go to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's tweet about the issue of the protest. Now, for those of you who do not know, there's been an anti-Igbo protest on social media and it's catching a lot of fire. But then several people have also kicked against it. And I think I must applaud Mr. President, if not for anything else, the fact that he talked about the issue of bigotry. But here's what former Vice President Atiku Abubakar had to say. He said, the recent call on X, formerly Twitter, for a protest under the hashtag Igbo must go, demanding the forced relocation of Igbo people from Lagos and other southwest states, is deeply troubling and fundamentally opposed to the principles of unity and coexistence that defines our nation. Such rhetoric is not only divisive, but also endangers our peace and our security, as our constitution guarantees every Nigerian the right to live and work freely anywhere in the country. History has shown us the consequences of allowing hatred and bigotry to fester, as seen in Rwanda. What began with inflammatory rhetoric led to devastating outcomes. We must learn from these lessons and act accordingly. He also said, I call on the Nigerian... Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. He said, I call on the Nigerian government and relevant authorities to take immediate and strong action against those inciting such hatred and division. It is imperative to investigate, arrest, prosecute individuals promoting ethnic bigotry. Well, it's a long message, but that was the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar wading into this matter. And then we've seen several other people, speak up about this issue. In fact, I hear that there was a live Twitter session, a Twitter space, where they were saying that the land that every Igbo person has bought is just temporary. And I'm thinking to myself, who are these people? Is the president going to tell us that, maybe direct the state government to fish these people out as they're fishing out protesters and the DSS is picking them up. What about these guys who are stoking the embers of war and segregation within the country? Because these are issues that we must address. Yes, he said it in a statement, but shall he go further to put an end to this? Or are we just going to wish it away? How about Bayonanugad just during the campaign season into the election? He started it. And how about these people who are very quick to jump on, fanning the embers of division and the divisionary tactics that politicians always... Can we put an embargo on it? If anybody breaches it, you're going down for it. Shall we see that as part of the demands? If you're protesting, I mean, you don't have to go on the street, but shall we begin to put pressure on that? Does the Lagos state government need us to say these things for those people to be picked up? I'm just thinking, because as we speak, some guy is in DSS custody because he spoke about Mr. President's address and did not agree with it. How about we pick up these guys who are fanning the embers of hate in the country? The phone lines are open, Lagos. Hello, welcome to Hard Fact.
Hello, Maryann. Good day.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Okay, Obi, go ahead.
Maryann, for those of them fanning the embers of hate in this country, I sympathize with them because they don't know what they're doing. See, let me tell you, I know this thing is caused by Igbophobism, a disease caused by envy. See, they should go and learn. And look for way to meet up. See, what I'm trying to say here, if anybody think that you can threaten a particular section of this, nobody's afraid. No, nobody has the monopoly of aggression, Maryann. Nobody's afraid of anybody, sincerely speaking, because this issue of if you go to Port Harcourt, go to Abuja, you have every tribe everywhere. Nobody's harassing anybody. I don't know what has gone wrong with the people harassing Igbos, sincerely speaking. People go to America. The politicians go to London, a place that is far from home. But in Nigeria, we continue to harass and maltreat a particular group due to envy.
Okay.
Please, government should, President Bola Tinubu should put a stop to it, because if he has started this during the election, I don't think that people would have.
All right. Thank you very much, Obi, for calling. Emeka is calling us from Satellite Town. Emeka, good afternoon.
Good, beautiful afternoon to you, Maryann Okon.
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Well, Mr. President did not disappoint in his speech, because for me it was more of a deja vu. I knew that, judging from the way they already gave political, ethnic coloration to the protest, the impending protest, I knew it was going to end up this way. That speech would not leave or will not disappoint me. Let me just summarize what Mr. President said in that speech. Okay, my children, I don't hear when I cry you, but see, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. Which I don't do. And don't cry too much, because if you cry too much, I will cane you. I will smash you. That was what he just said. I want to talk about the issue of bigotry. Like you rightly mentioned, who are those people leading the charge of ethnic bigotry? Who are those people stoking ethnic tension? They're in his cabinet. So how about, for starters, why not ask those people, get rid of those elements who are creating division within his administration, if really he wants to walk the talk. So for me, that speech was the most insensitive. It was hollow, it was flaccid, and devoid of any panacea for the yearnings of the people.
Okay.
And
all right.
One thing the president should understand is
in 10 seconds, we have to go. I need to take another call.
Yes. I hope that he will do the needful, so that the next one that will come will not be a sweeping tsunami. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Mercy is calling us from Agbara. Hello, Mercy.
My sister, good afternoon, ma.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay, about the Igbo, where they talk, tell them, make them go sit down. No. As I see with you right now, the same thing they are telling us. And we get in here, and we get who be a We are all Nigerians. Who tell them to sell their land? If not, they know that they don't want anybody in their own land. Why everybody come outside now? People, they are my state. In Benue, Yoruba there, Igbo there. No any tribe, why no go to my town, why no go see, and then buy land and build a house. No anybody, they threaten each other. Okay, like my house now, I dey here now, inside my house, now, one person go contact me, say, I should go to my venue, I should go. For where?
Okay.
Now, Nigeria belongs to everybody.
10 seconds.
All of us.
10 seconds.
Like, waiting our president now speak yesterday. I don't blame them, oh. I didn't blame them. Now we Now they blame.
Okay.
Because 2027 now, you will see that the vote for them again.
All right, Mercy. Thank you very much for calling. Uzoma is calling us from Ikotu.
Yes,
Hello.
this is Uzoma. Maryann, good afternoon.
How are you, Mrs. Omar?
I'm fine, and you?
Great.
Maryann, this is Nigeria. This is Nigeria. One Yoruba, so mostly.
No, you see, that's another problem. That's another problem. I'm so sorry, Uzoma. That's another. No. Hold on. No. Hold on, Uzo. Hold on, Uzo. Are you going to have a conversation with me? Just hold on. Listen. It is because a handful of people who call themselves Yorubas started something doesn't mean that they're generally, or that every Yoruba person is in support of this nonsense. So please don't say one Yorubas on the radio. Don't do it.
Yes, but Maryann, if some people are not getting from this tribal sentiment, it will not be rising every year, every month.
Yeah, but people have agenda, and some of them are very nasty. Doesn't mean that that's the agenda of the general public, and that's why I'm advising you.
Somebody is instigating them.
Obviously, did you hear yourself? Somebody doesn't mean that the large majority is in support of it.
I know what I'm saying, my sister, because if they're not instigating them, they're against it, they would have stopped it.
Okay.
Why is it that at the case like this, when the country is boiling, they bring people matter? I want to tell them that this is Nigeria, and I have the right to live anywhere I want to live. If you go to my own hometown, Olokoro Mwanya, in Abia State, Europe's food there, Hausa food there, we are living like one family. We don't segregate. Why is it that at the trivial time they bring Igbo? They should be together, because when Igbos will rise, they will all on the way.
All right, Uzo, thank you very much for calling. I'm just going to let you, simmer down. Godwin is calling us from Lakwe. After that, I'm going to go to social media, and I want to play you a video again from Abuja, this time courtesy of Premium Times, while policemen unleashed bullets on protesters. Hello, Godwin. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Maryann Okon to Kogi Bay. How was the weekend?
Great. Go ahead. You have 60 seconds and your time is ticking.
Bless you. For the address yesterday by our able president, I am not surprised, because the philosophy of which through he came to the seat of power was not through a decent way. And that philosophy...
What do you mean by it was not through a decent way? He was announced by INEC, and he was sworn into office. What do you mean?
No, that is not what I'm saying. The aspect of grab and run and do this, that during the campaign. So I'm not surprised with that. So for all other things that is happening now, we need to just take it as it is, and maybe the grace of God that is with this country to get us out of it.
Okay.
Otherwise, I cannot imagine.
10 seconds.
They promised January that NNPC will commence fuel production. March, April, June, has it commenced? All the promises.
Gordon, I have to take other calls. Thank you very much for calling. 60 seconds is the time. So when you call me, go straight to the point. All right. Thank you very much. On Twitter, Bello Elayinka here says, I don't know who you're tweeting at. This one's from Olushoga Ajayi. He says on X here, he says, I know we're angry, we're tired and hungry, agitating for a better government, but military taking over is not a thing to wish for at all. Nigerian militaries are not like other countries. We will end up begging Tinubu and Buhari to come back eventually. Esther Boli here says, what has the president said that would make us cut him some slack? If he hasn't, why should I do same? The federal government intentionally or allegedly brought in thugs to mar this protest, so we would call it off. Yet the policemen are not doing anything regarding all of this. The president's speech is off, she says. Imafidon Joseph says, Mr. President's speech is nothing to write home about, because he did not address the issue at stake, which is bring down the high cost of living, most especially fuel in the country. Namdi here says, the president is... This is a very funny tweet. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to move away from it. Let me go to WhatsApp. Quickly, there's some messages coming in on WhatsApp, so I want to read those messages and then I'll move on to other matters. Wow, so many messages. This one's okay. Olushoga, I think I've read your message on Twitter. Lucky Lola here says, what's even the purpose of the said speech when it didn't address any of the demands of the protesters? There will be hardship because Tinubu doesn't have a solution to end our suffering. Well, that sounds like a doomsday saying. This one says, my name is Jerry Ekpa, listening from Kogi State in Ayingba. The process must continue. The president's speech did not address the suffering of the people. To me, he said nothing. Until he returns fuel subsidy, no going back. He should continue to send police and other security agencies to kill Nigerians. No retreat, no surrender, he says. If we missed it, we will not get it right again. Please, no killings. Someone sent me a whole full scap. How am I supposed to read this, Morgan? It's so long. Anyway, he says, believe me, the House has fallen under the APC and Tinubu as chief tenant. He's the sectarian in chief. He hired the most tribal bigot today in Nigeria, Bayo Nanuga, a real divisive and destructive errand boy. The emperor himself does not care anymore. The manipulated Nigerian is docile, tired because he is hungry. The protest in Sunderland has been more violent than the one in Nigeria, yet no one was killed by the UK police. Nigerians are presently in ICU with Tinubu as chief medical consultant without any medical expertise. I'm going to leave it there, Morgan. This one says, Mr. Tinubu has just said the usual rhetorics. If you check well, you find out that it was Bayo Nanuga that wrote that speech. Just arrogant and mischievous as usual. Well, he said it in Ab Initio that if we let them protest till whenever, he will remove subsidy. I don't understand this message. Could you have imagined that one pint of beans would be sold for 11,000? Is it gari, meat, bread, fish, egg, milk? In fact, everything. He says, okay, thank you for your message. I'll leave it at that. KCC from Ojo says, the broadcast was empty as expected and tells the story of a man who's absolutely clueless and has no idea of what to do, which is same as from the beginning of this administration. We're not asking for too much, just the basics. But I'm afraid this administration has nothing to offer. Thank you for your message. Wilfred from Surulere here says, if you pass through the window into a house, you can't have a good day in the house. The process through which people get into office is far more important than what they do thereafter. An illegitimate... Okay, I'm not going to read this message. What makes him illegitimate? He won the election. He was sworn in. What is illegitimate? Illegitimate means you didn't win the election and you were not sworn in. You just took over power. So when you're sending me these messages, get your facts right, yeah? Israel from Festac says, we don't understand that President Tinubu has called for an end to protests, but we believe that our voices must continue to be heard. The issue that led to these protests are yet to be addressed, and we cannot afford to be silent. We will continue to peacefully assemble and demand justice, equality, and accountability. Our protests are a testament to our commitment to a better future, and we will not be deterred. We urge all concerned citizens to join in this ongoing struggle for a brighter tomorrow. The process will not stop until the issues that sparked the ongoing nationwide protests are fully addressed. The president should be taught how to address the nation. He's been a governor before. How dare you? This one says, in my opinion, it's time to call the protest off and fix the next protest date to every first month until 2027. That way, your legs will always be on their necks. Call it off now before they overdo it like NSAS. Going forward, every first day of the month, things will change. Okay. This one's from Chris in Accra. He says, all of the reactions on President's speech, I'm irked by that of NLC. What and who is asking of their opinion? Thought they said they're not part of the process. The NLC is a big disgrace, and surely the protesters have shown them how to embark on a process and a strike. Innocent protesters, yeah. NLC, nay. Okay, Chris. Now let's go back to the video from Abuja. Yes, and this one's courtesy Premium Times, and of course this is a Premium Times reporter in the field recording police officers shooting at protesters. In fact, it's written there on that video that this is the moment that policemen ambushed protesters at the National Stadium in Abuja and fired tear gas and live ammunition. So take a listen, and when we come back, you will have your chance to speak on this issue. It's a very packed day, if you ask me. But I've still got 12 minutes on the clock. So if you're watching live on YouTube and Facebook, here it is. And that video is courtesy of Premium Times newspaper. And of course, that's from their reporter who was in the field recording what was going on. And for those of you who are looking for Atiku Street, just go to his Twitter handle on X. You'd see his post on that tweet on that issue of Igbo must go. But now let's talk about the police, because one of the breaking stories that we got today is that the police is saying that protest has been banned in Lagos. Yes. Apparently, I want to read that story. It's from the Punch newspaper. I'm just going to read it out to you. But on the screen right now is a picture of SP Joseph Ade, PPRO of the police in Abuja. Before we get to her, the Lagos State Police Commissioner, Adegoke Fayode, has said that the ongoing bad governance protest in Nigeria has been banned after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu addressed aggrieved protesters. Fayode said this while addressing journalists yesterday. According to him, any gathering in the state is unlawful and illegal since the president has addressed protesters. On the line, since the president has addressed protesters. He said, and I quote, "The protest has been called off because of the president's speech. They believe that the president has spoken and they're looking forward to meeting their demands. In view of that, there should be no more gathering here or anywhere. Any of such is considered illegal and unlawful since it has been called off. We will apply the full weight of the law," he said. For those of you who've watched Mr. President's address, can you succinctly say that at any point the president said that protests had been banned? Was there any part of that speech where he says any further protest will be henceforth addressed as breaking the law, and if protesters were found, they will be clamped down on? Because there is a difference between I appeal to you that you end the protest because I have heard you and we're going to do something about it, as opposed to if I see you on the road, you're on your own. So I'm trying to understand what the Lagos State Police Command is saying, and I would really love to have the SP himself, the police commissioner in the studio, or maybe join us via telephone to explain to us if there has been a clear-cut ban on protesting in Nigeria, especially the end bad governance protest, and at which point in Mr. President's address this was made unlawful. Also, in Abuja, because of all of the allegations and videos that have come up of the police, I remember Very Dark Man put up a video saying, "We're all here peacefully protesting, carrying our placards," and the FCT, according to him, allegedly the FCT minister sent thugs and the police to come after them. That's an allegation. But SP Josephine Ade, PPRO of the Nigeria Police in Abuja, said contrary to speculations, operatives of the FCT Police Command have conducted themselves civilly and professionally. She goes on to say, "I can honestly state that our officers did not kill any protesters. In fact, no lethal weapons were used. Only anti-riot equipment were provided." And if this is being shown on our live stream, let me go to the next slide. Babatunde, you can see these are pellets, bullets from guns. Are these also anti-riot? Yeah. I'm just wondering. SP Ade. I've got 7 minutes on the clock. Nigeria is an interesting place. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Mo.
Good afternoon. 60 seconds is all you have. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Wisdom. I'm calling you from Jakondema.
Quickly.
So, quick one. The Igbos fail me. Because me as a Kwaibu man, I suppose they're back of Igbos. But now when something come out, Igbo didn't come
All
out.
right, get off the phone, please. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Maryann.
Good afternoon.
Well, I listen to the video you played right now, and I'm not in a position to watch it. So, number one, if you can tell us if there's any result of that shooting, casualty regarding that. That is number one. Then regarding the hashtag Igomos, it is not surprising because President Tinubu initiated this.
How do you mean the president initiated it? What do you mean by that?
Campaign train. That is what they use as propaganda.
At what point did the president come out to say that Igbo people must go?
Yes, he cannot say it more louder.
At what point? So how is this supposed to stick?
Has been the champion campaign of those Igbo.
Yeah, but that's Onanaga. You can't say the president championed it.
Campaign train right from time. He has been the one, right? Even after the election, whatever happened during the campaign and after the election, whoever has been declared winner, he should be on the rebuilding whatever. That is what is being done all over the world. People have a result of the election, outcome of the election. Those who could not demonstrate, protest, whatever, there has to be a rebuilding. This man being in the government.
But the president has spoken about this issue of bigotry.
The president has never wanted to shun him out, call him out. He's still the media or whatever special advisor. You cannot expect better than that. Anything less better than that from this kind of a person.
So is it not our place, you as a Nigerian who's irked by it, to start your own hashtag, push that the president deals with the issue of bigotry, because he said it, but yet he might be aware. But how are we going to get him to do something about it?
When they say Vivo, it's a Benin Republic or whatever, it's not a Nigerian. You remember all of that. So if somebody like that is still in the power, is in the cabinet or under the whatever, what do you think will happen?
Well,
and this division that started from there.
I have to let you go, sir. Thank you very much. But how do we hold the president to account? Because he's saying he's not going to let bigotry take over. So what's Mr. President going to do? And how are we going to get him to do it? Rapper Chukwu is calling us from Alimosha. Dede.
Hi, Maryann.
How are you?
I'm okay. And you?
I'm fine, thank you. Go ahead.
Good. Well, I want to speak on Mr. President's speech.
Go ahead.
Well, to me, it doesn't make sense. Because he failed to speak on critical issues confronting this nation and how to address it, You don't pretend all is well. We don't sit and pretend all is well. Yeah, there is hardship in the land. There is hunger in the land, social injustice. And they don't speak on that. He went on, talking on what do you call it, his achievements.
20 seconds.
Why should you comment on your achievements? It's left for people, seeing is believing, to say what you achieved. A person on told hardship, they need to go and air their feelings. If anybody is hijacking the protest, let the police do their work.
All right.
Then be decisive with anyone confronting the protest.
All right.
You don't give people palliatives of.
Thank you very much, Rapper Chiku, for calling.
Mess.
Thank you very much for calling. I'm going to go to YouTube Live now. For all those who are watching us live on YouTube and on Facebook, I'm going to read your messages now. You can join the conversation via Skype if you're listening to us from outside of the country. I have just 3 minutes on the clock. Samuel Ajire says, good afternoon, Maryann. Dialogue with Mr. President is, President will, I'm sure you meant to say, is needless. Taking the NLC as a case study. Mr. President's speech yesterday was an insult on every Nigerian as he's not taking us seriously. And Esther Boli is back here on YouTube saying, What has the president said that has addressed the demands of the protesters so far? I'll summarize his speech in 3 simple words: campaign, praise singing, and issuance of threats to the common man. And she says, shame. All right. I'm going to go to Facebook Live now to read some of your messages. Godwin here says, sincerely speaking, my dear country and its citizens are passing through a lot right now. The Lagos State Police Command should explain to Nigerians when on earth the president gave them an order to stop the protest. Lawa Olashewu says, I'm afraid of the current happening in our dearest country. Why is the country going south every day, for God's sakes? Amos Jubilee Oluwatobi says, please, Mrs. Oboli, stop saying Tinubu is the father of the nation. I don't know who made him father. Not every man is a father. Oh, wow. Don't take it that personal, okay? Olua Faye here says, Maryann, those condemning some faceless groups, those condemn some faceless group ultimatum to Igbo support. I don't understand this message, Olua Faye. I'm so sorry. I don't even understand. I'm sorry. I can't read it because it doesn't make sense. I'm so sorry. Someone here says, I can tell you that most of the people who are saying Igbo should go, you people are coming up with all kinds of crazy things. I shall not read that on the radio. This one says, Maryann, don't be deceived by the rhetoric of ethnic bigotry used by Mr. Tinubu in his address. He is, come on. He said the Oba of Lagos. See, I can read your message, but you're making too many allegations without proof. How are you calling the Oba of Lagos as the promoter of, come on, man. What's your fact? Where's your proof? Yeah, has he come out to say that Igbo people should go? Help me now. Someone here says, protest yields results. Look at Bangladesh. The PM has fled. The president's speech fell, I'm sure he means far from expectation. All these palliatives are not more costly than fuel subsidy that will cushion the effects of the hardship and hunger? If you travel around Nigeria, you will see excruciating pains people are going through. Police are brutalizing protesters with live bullets. Miscreants were chasing people away in the presence of police at Ojota yesterday. What a nation we have built. Ayo from Alakija. Someone here says, it has been like that. I mean, the hatred for Igbo people by selected politicians amongst the Yorubas, but the last election that Obi won in Lagos and disgraced Tinubu in his captured state, the hatred has been instigated and soared to heaven. Jeremiah from Ikeja. Now, wow. All right, I've got to go. On the other side of the clock, Enough is Enough joins us. We're still talking on the show. We're still live, Nigeria Info FM, still talking about the protest, but of course, citizens' engagement. The executive director of Enough is Enough is going to be joining us on the 4 o'clock hour. Stay with us.
This is Hard Facts. With all the
99.3 Nigeria Info, we are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.